What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Get Close. I'm your host, Bart Kwan.
And I'm your co-host, Gio.
And today we got an NBA legend in the house.
Yes.
Jason Richardson.
Yes.
Played 14 seasons in the NBA.
Yep.
Won the second person to win the dunk contest back-to-back.
Yep.
I'm not even quite sure who that first person is. No one really knows.
No one cares.
I don't
No
know
one
who that
knows.
guy is.
Yeah,
No one
yeah.
cares. Was a NCAA champion. And it's crazy you're the first like pro super high level athlete that we've actually had on this podcast.
Oh, I'm honored.
Yeah, no,
I'm
we're honored.
definitely honored to be on now.
Thank you.
So I just have so many questions. I'm just so interested. So I guess I'll start with the first one is, when did you know you wanted to play in the NBA?
Oh, geez. It's funny because the story about the NBA is I always wanted to dunk. I was really big in a dunk contest. So growing up, I always watched the dunk contest on Saturday. That was the thing I wanted to do. And I didn't even know that was part of the NBA. So I actually wanted to be in the dunk contest before the NBA. So,
That's amazing.
I think I always wanted to be a basketball player, but the NBA, I think, for me, it was probably like the second or third grade. I knew that's what I wanted to do, was just love for basketball.
Wait, so you were dunking before the second and third?
No. I wasn't dunking before that. I used to had a little play rims around the house. I used to have those and put back then we used to put a hanger on the door and get a pair of socks and just imitate what the dunks we seen. So, but once I started dunking like the 9th grade.
Oh, okay.
I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Dang, in the 9th grade. That's amazing. When did you know you were a badass? Like, when did you know you were like, I am the shit?
I'm a little bit better than everyone around me.
Yeah, basically.
I think around like 9th grade, I got my first dunk in high school. And then I started doing 360s in games. I started dunking on people. And I kind of realized then that, I was pretty good. And then, for me, I didn't grow up with much. I came from, welfare system. My mom had 6 kids. It was tough for us. But, that 9th grade year, I kind of felt like I was starting to get good. Mm-hmm. And every year I would tell her, Mom, when I get older, I'm going to buy you a house. When I make it to the NBA, I'll buy your house. And so every year, my mom, she wasn't the type of parent like, yeah, whatever. She's like, okay. But every year.
Was she like, man, I got 5 other kids telling me the same shit?
No, not really. It's like every year I could hear in her tone that she started believing me more and more every year.
Wow.
I could start hearing that because I started getting better and better. I started getting college letters. I started getting recruited and stuff like that. So I could hear in her voice every year like, okay. And then like by my, the time it was for me to go to the NBA, she's like, okay, I'm ready for my house.
That's awesome. When you're like, I think all kids got dreams, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was little, my dad used to love watching like war movies. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even know what it was called. But as a kid, I was like, I want to be Army Man. And I just thought Army Man meant you're just crawling around in bushes all day, not knowing like wars or whatever, any of that stuff. I just want to be crawling in bushes. So when you're in 2nd and 3rd grade, finding your passion for basketball, did you know, or were you put on a specific program? Because kids these days, it's like almost like some kids get scouted. I've seen like kids play baseball and it's televised on ESPN when they're 11 years old. Like, you don't just get there by luck, like when you were coming up, did you have a program or a set schedule or a trajectory?
None of that. I mean, I tell people all the time, I actually grew up playing hockey. Being from Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I played hockey into the 8th grade until my feet got too big for skates. And back then, there was no such thing as custom skates.
Yeah.
And so I played hockey, football, baseball, and ran track. And I played all those sports all the way up to my junior year in high school. So there was no such thing as specialized sports back then. You just played whatever your friends played.
Wait, how did your mom do? Like, were you like on a team, and your mom took you and all other the 5 kids like to do this?
Well, I was from a small town where everybody know everybody, and I mean back then we always used to hype on our bikes and ride to 10 miles on our bikes with all our friends. So
cool.
It was like a community raising each other. If I had to be somewhere, I just hop in with one of my friends, and if it was my mom's turn, she did it and took a whole bunch of kids. So we was all over the place, and everything wasn't really far. Like I said, we didn't play a lot of out-of-state tournaments. Everything was local. Or our farthest tournament from kids when we were in middle school was Detroit, which was like a 2-hour drive south from where I was from.
Wow. So you just played everything. And it wasn't until freshman year you're like, oh, I think basketball's starting to shine. I'm going to specialize.
Yeah, it wasn't really specialized because I still played football, I still played baseball, and all those sports until my junior year. And like, so my junior year is when I started getting the big college offers. You know, Michigan State, UCLA. I got every school besides Kentucky. No, every school besides Duke and North Carolina. It still bothers me to this day. Seriously. But that's when I realized that, you know, I was going to school to play basketball, and it didn't make sense to go play football and get hurt, or baseball be burnt out. So that's when I specialized in my sport my junior year. But it's just crazy because you see a lot of kids now, they have trainers at 5 or 6 years old. And I'm like, this is crazy. I didn't have a trainer until I got to the NBA. Wow. So it's just a different era of what goes on now.
Yeah, I went to UCLA, and Russell Westbrook was in one of my classes. And in the summer, he would hold like summer camps and stuff, and you would see the 5-year-olds, and I'm like, damn, this is crazy. People are putting their kids in super young. But I also feel like the game now, or like just the pipeline is so sophisticated. Yeah, you can't afford to lose like maximizing each phase of it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. It's a real fine line on, you know, borderline pushing your kids, and your kids wanted to do that. Yeah, me growing up, I didn't want to. You know, if I didn't want to go to the gym, I didn't go to the gym. But I wanted to do that on my own. It was nobody dragged me into the gym like, you got to go work out, you got to go do this. It was just natural in me. I'm just a natural person that like to get up in the morning and work out, because I knew the NBA was my dream, but I also knew the numbers of making it to the NBA. It's only like 443 spots. And the odds of making it is like hitting the lottery. So I was like, I got to be one of those 443 people, you know, to get into that spot. So I was sacrificing stuff on my own because that was my path.
How did you know to do the math like that? Because a lot of people, I don't think they do the math. You know, like even the people that go, oh, I want to be an astronaut, they don't go, oh, wait, there's only maybe like 5 astronauts a year or something, and I got to like really make myself competitive. Like, how did you even know to do the math?
Yeah, you don't even have access to like the internet to like really see what's popping off. You know what I mean?
It was books. You had to go to the library, you know.
433.
433. And then, you know, I just did the numbers on that. And, you know, when I went to camps, I got a little bit older in like middle school. You start hearing the numbers. You start hearing about how many high school players go to college. And so you start doing the math, and you're like, wow, you know, getting there is really hard. So what do I have to do to get there? And it almost became like a borderline obsession that I had within me. Like, if I'm sleeping, somebody is working out.
Wow.
And it was just in me. And to this day, I'm still like that. I feel like if I'm sleeping, somebody's out working me right now.
Wow.
But that was my path because that's what I wanted to do, and that was my dream. And so I knew I had to figure out a way to do it. And it was guys way more talented than me on my high school team. I had 2 guys that should have been pros, but the stars aligned for me, and I hit the lottery.
Wow,
I'm not sure if you hit the lottery for sure. It's not like that. But like, where did that come from? Like, was your mom like, were your parents, or like, were there any other people in your life that were like constantly trying to like remind you of like what your path is?
Yeah, no, it wasn't a constant reminder. It was like my grandfather. He was a hard worker. He was the type of person to get up at 4 a.m, go work out in the fields in the yard. And he had like chicken and pigs. I'm from the country, and he had all these things. And he just liked to work and constantly kept himself busy. And I think it was just seeing him when I was younger that kind of gave me that work ethic of just always working.
Are your brothers and sisters like that too?
No.
They were watching a different grandpa?
And it's crazy because my brothers and sisters were super athletic and super skilled. I had a brother that jumped higher than me, and he's shorter.
What?
And it was just amazing. Like, it wasn't their thing. And I was just uber focused on what I want. I knew what I wanted out of life. They just didn't want that part.
What number out of the 6 are you?
I'm in the middle child, and it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, it sucks. And I remind my mom all the time about it being the middle child because, like, I got 2 older brothers and sisters, and then it's me, but then there's twins right under me. And the toughest part about that was my birthday's January 20th. Yeah, their birthday's January 22nd. And so I always share the birthday with them. So I still feel that to this day. Like,
and those 2 share the birthday.
They share. I'm like, my birthday January 22nd because that's when I always celebrated my birthday. Was with theirs. So
dang. So you're not the oldest boy. No. You're also not the oldest girl, and you're not the baby either.
No. So I was feel that right there. Yeah.
I'm also a middle child, so I know what you're talking about.
You know the pain.
I know what you're talking about.
That's what crazy. I've seen though is a lot of like middle child. I don't know what it is. There's an additional drive. You know, like I see it from you, I see it from her, I see it from a lot of my other friends. Because I think like the first kid, you know, they get like preferred treatment, then the baby gets like the spoiled treatment, and then I feel like somewhere in the middle kind of gets lost. And
we're
then,
the forgotten ones.
Yeah, the forgotten ones. But then I don't know, something about that makes the middle child like want to achieve extra hard.
Oh yeah, we want the attention.
Yeah, maybe I think that's what it is.
It is, seriously.
Or it's one of those where it's like, well, damn, I see what they're doing and they fucked up, and then I'm seeing what they're doing and I don't like that. So then I think we kind of take from both and we're like, okay, let's do our own thing.
Right.
So you have kids that play basketball too, and you knowing what it takes to get to the highest level, because this is something that I struggle with as a parent too. Like especially my kid's only 4, so I want to push him, but I also don't want to make him like doing 2 hours worth of push-ups at home, you know? Exactly. So I want to push him hard, but I also want him to fall in love with it and not hate it. So like, how do you find the fine line and like to parent them in the right way?
You know, because it's their journey, it's their path. Me personally, I wish none of my kids play basketball.
Really? Why?
Because there's just so much to the world out there. But I think the way I kind of combat that a little bit is make sure they're well-rounded kids. Like my boys, for example, I have 3 kids. My daughter's 22. My boys are 16 to 14. Daughter a little old, so she's out there already.
You're done with that.
It's too late for
college basketball. No, she plays college basketball. D2 college basketball.
Wow.
She does a lot of things, but she's a young adult.
Yeah, she's
trying to figure out the
person.
world. But with my boys, they're well-rounded. They both speak 2 languages, Spanish and a little bit of Mandarin.
Wow.
Yeah, they play instruments.
I'm gonna start speaking to them Mandarin.
Yeah, they'll know what they're talking about.
That's
too.
Cool.
Seriously. They play instruments. One play piano, one play the violin. They're all A students. So I just didn't want them to just be athletes, because I know how that feeling was, because I grew up like that. And you're a dumb jock. But I wasn't that dumb jock. I just was never pushed to see it in education, and that's a big part of it. So for me, I've kind of pushed them in that area, but sports, that's just the cherry on top for me. Like, go have fun, love it, and enjoy it, because I'm not going to push you. It's just.
Was there ever a moment where like the kids where it's like, oh man, this is hard, I don't want to do this anymore, and then how did you respond with that?
No, it was never a moment like that. I think in this era they have a lot of selfishness, so I have moments with them where it's like, man, nobody passed me the ball. So it's like, well, go get the ball, go get a rebound, go get a steal, go play defense. So I just try to keep them positive in that way. But they're both pretty good players, and playing basketball is something they want to do. And I remind them every now and then, like, it's hard what you're doing. Trying to get to the level that you guys want to do. Like, you really have to sacrifice and really push yourself. But guess what? I'm not going to do it. You got to want to do that on your own.
Yeah, that's amazing parenting. I love that.
Seeing like, like, it almost seems like when your father is great, right? It's hard for kids to fill those shoes. Like even with like Michael Jordan, I forgot what his kids did.
They were actually pretty good basketball players.
They?
Yeah, it just when you're at that level. I mean, for my boys, they get it a little bit, but not like a LeBron or Michael Jordan. Everybody expects you to be your parent, and they expect you to be that. And that's just not the case. I mean, I think
it's kind of unfair, huh?
Yeah, it's unfair. I think LeBron's son is a really good player, but he's not LeBron. I think Michael Jordan kids were really good players, but they're not Michael Jordan. And for my son, he's named after me. So when you see it's Jason Richardson second. And so they come out there and they're expecting to see a long, dangly kid dunk, go crazy. But he's really, like, he's 6'3". He can dunk. And he dunked before I did. He dunked in the 8th grade.
Wow.
But he's very skilled. Like, he could shoot the ball. He plays point guard. He could dribble. I mean, he knows the game. And I'm like, he's way more advanced than I was. I couldn't shoot the ball or dribble. So it's like, he gets he's not his dad. He's better than me, in my opinion. Wow. I'm sorry.
At that level, though, do you think, like, the game this day, like, I would watch, like 20s basketball where they're only dribbling one hand and they're dribbling like they'll like backcourt the ball, come forwards and backwards and just going in circles and stuff. Like the game evolves, right?
Yeah.
Do you think even though your kid is technically better than where you were, do you think he's in a better position than you were to go to the league?
I think it's easier for guys. For me, the NBA, that's when the kid's out my house. I tell parents that all the time. As a parent, my job is to get my kid into college. If I could give him a free education, he could leave school debt free, I did my job. But once the kid gets to college, it's on them, because are you going to school, or you go party, or you go work out? Are you go do your homework, or you go hang out with your girlfriend? So your priorities have to line up, and there's no parent in there. So for me, it's just to get him to college, and I think it's a little bit easier because there's so much, media out there. You can watch videos. The college coaches or even the NBA scouts, they don't have to physically be at games now. They could just put up a video and they can watch the games live now. So it's a little bit easier path for those guys to get seen, but it's still hard.
So for you, you're like, as a parent, my job is up to when you get to college.
Yep.
I'm going to do everything I can. And in college, they got to figure it out.
They got to figure it out. I mean, because I went through it. My first year in college, I was partying. I was having a fucking good time. I'm not going to lie to you. And we won a national championship my first year. And the thing that changed me was getting towards the end of the season. And our star point guard, who was an All-American, was going to be an NBA player. I'm walking up my elevator, going to my dorm room, pretty hammered. And I see my starting point guard, All-American, leaving the gym at 11:30 at night. Ooh. And I'm like, okay, I know he's a little bit hurt. He's trying to work himself back in and stuff like that. So I go up to him the next day. We had a locker right next to each other. I'm like, hey, man, his name is Team Cleaves. Man, they got you coming back at 11:30 to get treatment. He's like, no, I'm working out. It blew my mind. Like, wait a minute. Me as a freshman, I'm out partying, and the star player of this team
is still working.
It's still working at 11:30. Partying's done. That day, partying's done. So the next year after he was gone, I was a sophomore. I became a little bit better player. I started. I forced myself to go to the gym at 9:30 at night every night.
Wow.
So I wouldn't go out and party. And I was leaving the gym 11:30, 12 o'clock at night.
When you're going in there, did you have a specific game plan?
Yep, mine was shooting. I couldn't shoot. So
just work on weaknesses?
Yeah, I had a machine, the shooting machine, that tossed me the ball, and I get 1,000 shots up a night.
Wow.
Yeah, because I literally couldn't shoot the ball. I could jump, but I couldn't shoot. So that was a part of my plan that I had to work on to get to the next level. I knew my athleticism wasn't going to last a long time. And for me, I always wanted to try to be the best player I could possibly be. Not the greatest. I knew my skill set wouldn't just get me there, or my abilities. But I knew I was good enough to play against some of the world's best players. And so for me, those nights I was going to the gym late at night, I was getting numbers shooting and shots. And I finally became a shooter.
Wow. So I know you're saying you got your work ethic from your grandpa, but that mindset of like working on your weaknesses and like the path you have to take to make a plan, to stick to it, to like the tenacity and all that, like where does that come from?
I think that's just me.
Awesome.
I just really think that's in me. I'm just the type of person that if somebody say I can't do anything, I'm gonna try my best to try to do it, and I'm gonna work my ass off to do it, and I'm gonna prove you wrong. Dang. I just love doing that. So I think that was, I don't even know if there's anybody in my family that's like that but me. But I think that's just who I am.
Dang. What do your brothers and sisters do?
They all working.
Like just like 9 to 5 regular jobs?
Yeah.
Does it feel, is there like, what is the dynamic? Because I'm sure for them, they're like, my little brother, I see him flying all over the place on TV. Yeah. Do they ever like, they're at work and like, yo, that's my little brother, that's my big brother, like
they're proud of me. I have a close relationship with all of them. I still talk to them all, and we talk weekly. And
are they still all in your hometown?
All in Michigan. Well, my brother actually live out here.
I just realized that. I should go visit him.
I seriously should go visit him. But, we're all close-knit family. I come from a big family. Like I said, I had 6 siblings, and then my mother came from 10.
Wow.
My grandparents were together for 64 years before my grandfather passed. And they all, we are a huge family. That's amazing. I was like doing the math, like when my grandmother passed, she passed about 7 years after my grandfather. And I was just doing the math. I was like, okay, it was 10 kids. It was 103 grandkids. And it was like
oh my God,
almost 100 and something great grandkids before she passed away.
What a beautiful life.
And it's like they all live in the same city. So like Christmas and Thanksgiving, it could literally be like 200 people in the house.
That's beautiful.
You've been doing math, huh?
Yeah, yeah, seriously.
It's like 100, 400 at the end.
Right, it's a lot of us, man. It's a lot of us.
He's a numbers guy. He's a
Yeah.
numbers guy.
Hey, that's crazy. That's like half the town, probably.
Yeah. But where I'm from is everybody know everybody. It's about maybe 30,000, 40,000 people there.
Yeah.
So somebody know one of my family members, and I probably know somebody else, their family members, and we just all connected.
How cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like talking about the like 1,000 shots, you know, that's something that like Kobe's notorious for. Did you play in the era of Kobe and Jordan, and you were able to see?
Yeah, I actually told a kid this the other day.
And LeBron too, right?
Yeah, I'm old enough to play against Michael Jordan. I'm young enough. Well, I'm in the prime to play against Kobe, and I'm young enough to play against LeBron and Steph Curry. So I feel like my age was like the golden era.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of everything. So,
Have you been on the same court as Iverson too?
been on the same court as Iverson? All
That's
those
cool.
guys, and I mean, I played against Karl Malone and
Wow.
Gary
Whoa.
Payton, but like I said, I played against Steph and Dame Lillard and LeBron.
That's like the basketball card era.
Yeah, seriously. So it's pretty cool. But you know, with Kobe, he was the pinnacle of what a two guard was. And so every year, once I got to the NBA,
What's a two guard? Like a shooting guard?
Shooting guard.
Oh, okay.
It was like, okay, I'm working my game to try to close that gap with Kobe, which had never happened. But for 1 year, it did. Every stat that was written down for shooting guards, I was second to Kobe.
Wow.
Which was really cool. Like, you know, he was like averaging like 26 points. I was averaging like 23. I was second. It was like right there, and it made me feel good. But I just never had a career like Kobe. So Kobe is Kobe, but he was just an amazing player, and it just.
And was he the last player to go straight high school?
No, it was tons of them after that, but he probably the most famous
the most famous one, right?
the most successful one to come from high school to the NBA.
What do you think is like the biggest difference, or like the dynamic on the court that you feel amongst them?
You know what? It's levels in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, I probably could go out there. No, you can't.
Nah,
like,
you
it's some
can't
guys
do it.
out there that's just like, they're superstars. And he was a superstar. And it was whatever you did, you just couldn't stop him. And so if Kobe.
What if you can't just like move to the side?
Yeah, you can't do anything. No, you can't. Trust me, we double teamed this guy before, and he
reach
still
up
was
a little
making
more.
shots. So for him, it was just like, if he averaged 28 points, he's going to get 28 points. There's nothing you can't do about it. He's just that good.
Did you play? Because you know there's that other famous game in The Last Dance where like Jordan had a fever, and he's like, "Screw it, I'm gonna come back," and he just goes crazy. Have you felt that presence on the court?
For myself,
Yeah, from him, like that kind of energy. You're like,
for
oh,
Kobe,
wow.
yes, I have. We was in the Western Conference Finals, and
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
we were down. I'm in Phoenix, and he
Yep.
just went crazy on us. I mean, like, we couldn't stop him.
Yep.
And then the thing was about it, when I knew, like, in my opinion, Michael Jordan is the best player ever played the game. I knew Kobe was second. He hit this shot. He's falling out of bounds. The shot clock is going down. He shoots the shot. He hits it. And while he's falling, he slapped our coach on the ass and ran down the court. I was like, oh, this guy is amazing. This guy is the best player I ever played against on the floor. But
Awesome.
Oh my God.
it was
what a
just that
stud.
amazing, though, man. And we knew, like, once he hit that shot, I was like, we lost this game. And we still had like 3 minutes left, and we were down like 10 points. But he was at a level so high that it was just like, he let you know, like, you're beneath me, and there was nothing we could do about it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of going back, Bart's been hogging you up this whole time.
I just got so many questions.
I know, like literally, my mouth goes like this, and I'm like, and then Bart jumps in. But how was it playing like professionally? Like your first game, how was that? Like, were
geez.
you? Yeah,
That was amazing. Because our first game, we had a preseason game. We were in Hawaii, playing against the Lakers, and they finally subbed me in. And my teammate Gilbert Arenas played a long time in NBA.
Oh, I had his basketball shoes.
Yeah,
The Adidas ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he walks up to me. He's like, "Yo, there goes Shaq." I was like, "Hey, there go Kobe." And we just started giggling like little kids. And so it was like my first moment that I actually made it to NBA and realized I made it to my dream.
that is beautiful.
Isn't that
How old are
crazy?
you at this point?
I was 20.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
was 20.
beautiful.
How does it feel to like because technically they're the enemy, right? Mm-hmm. To go, I'm a fan of them.
You have to keep it inside. Like, I'm ultra competitive. I hate losing at anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. If I'm playing against a little kid, I'm winning. I'm sorry. And that's not just basketball, pool. I mean, whatever, anything that's competitive. Yeah. I don't. Old people, young people. I don't like to lose. And
that's
so,
awesome.
You know, you keep that to the side.
Shit.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
You know, I played against some guys. I was invited to play against the Olympic team that went to Australia, which was like Vince Carter, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, Ray Allen.
Wow.
And you know, we go out there the whole week. They're literally talking shit to us. We a whole bunch of college kids. These guys gonna be Hall of Famers, and they literally trashing us the whole week. Like, I couldn't get a shot off. I couldn't make it a shot.
You were just brought there to help warm them up or train them?
We had a training camp. We practiced against them all at training camp, and then we had an exhibition game at the end of the training camp. And like for 3 days, they just like literally was talking trash to us,
love it.
pushing us around. We're college kids.
I love it.
So we get to the exhibition game in front of the fans.
Ooh.
I go out there and I'm like, the whole week I'm pissed off. I didn't want to talk to any of those guys because they literally, every name under the sun, they calling us.
That's awesome.
And so we go out there and I'm like, you know what? Fuck these guys.
Yeah.
And so I didn't shake their hands. And I go out there and I have a really good game. I scored like 19 points in the first half.
Dang.
But then the point is, after the game, I was taking pictures with all those guys. Like, hey, man, can I get a picture with you? Can I get a picture with you? But that's just how you keep it in. You just, when you're in between those lines, if you don't have the same jersey on, you sticking with those guys. But after that, everybody's really cool with each other. It's a fraternity. Like I said, it's only 430 some guys.
Yeah.
So everybody knows everybody. You either play with them, or you played against them, or you somehow had the same coach or something. So it's a fraternity.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Okay, so according to the latest research, 90% of employers plan to make enhancing the employee experience a top priority in 2022. After all, a happy workplace is key to attracting and keeping great employees. I know with some of the companies that we've had and currently have, it really is about catering to your staff, to your team. You make them feel valued, you make them feel heard, you make them feel seen, and you make them feel like they're actually contributing to this bigger picture, aka your company goal or just your company why. So why not invest more time into really appreciating and focusing and helping elevate your team? So since that is the case, this is where ZipRecruiter comes in. I've used ZipRecruiter multiple times and I absolutely love it from an employer perspective. As you know, I own a few small businesses, and I've said this time and time again, owning a small business is like flying a plane while fixing it at the same time. So you're constantly wearing a million hats, and one of them is HR. Unfortunately for us, sometimes we're spread a little too thin and we don't have the ample amount of time to go through and post our job listing everywhere and then go through a ton of resumes. So I am so grateful that ZipRecruiter exists, because I put out my job post one time and then ZipRecruiter does its algorithm thing where it searches through all these potential candidates looking for the keywords that pertain to your particular job, and then they start sending you matches, and it is the best ever. Not only is it like the best because it does that algorithm thing where it matches all these keywords for the job that you're specifically trying to hire for, it is the best because it gives you the option to look through every single resume and read it from beginning to end. Or it does this quick valuation where you can kind of skim through it, see the key things that you need. You can thumbs it up, thumbs it down, or like thumbs it in the middle, I guess, if you're unaware or unsure, I should say, if you want to move further with this applicant. And that has been by far my favorite feature. Okay, my second favorite feature with ZipRecruiter. Because, I don't have time to go through all of this stuff. So the fact that I can quickly rate no, yes, maybe, and then I go through it and then I thoroughly read everything is my favorite, most absolute favorite feature. Okay, second, I did say that. The first one is the fact that I don't have to post in a million places and then look for and hunt down a bunch. Okay, so it's my second. I'll fix that. But for everyone listening right now, please, 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 especially if you're trying to hire or if you're trying to be hired. I'm speaking from an employer perspective, but from an employee perspective, I highly recommend you posting your resume on there because, again, the algorithm, it is the best. So for everyone listening right now, it's time to find the right employees or employer for your workplace or your new job. So you're going to get it for free at this exclusive website, okay? It's going to be ZipRecruiter.com/getclose. That's the only way that you're going to get this for free is by visiting ZipRecruiter.com/getclose. ZipRecruiter.com/getclose.
Vince Carter is like one of the dunk OGs.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to dunk on him?
No. No, I didn't. Vince is actually awesome, man. He's like a big brother. Every time I've seen him, he's always cool. Everybody always say, what happened with you and him getting a dunk contest? And I tell him all the time, he's winning. I'm not gonna lie. He's a better dunker than me. He has like a lot of like crazy skills, but he's just a great guy.
That's crazy. Because like, you know, when the only televised game is like the NBA, right? Mm-hmm. But then you always hear like the side stories of like the other leagues, like is it like Drew League or D League or G League?
G League now.
So there's a bunch of other leagues that people drop out, try to get back in. What's that whole system? Like, I don't quite understand, but I hear it all the time. And then you'll see like summer practice or whatever, and a guy kills it. He's back in the main league again. Like, what is that whole system?
It's just like a farm system. So in baseball, they took it from baseball. So baseball, you have, I think it's AAA, which is their minor league. It's trying to prep those guys to get ready to go to the major leagues. Some of those guys just not good enough to get there yet.
Yeah.
Or it might be a guy that's in the NBA and he's coming off an injury, so they put him down to get back in shape. Or just a young guy that got drafted that needed more playing time and he's not ready to play in the NBA and they put him down. So it's just basically a minor league system to help guys prepare to get them to get to that level to play in the NBA.
Do they get paid at that level?
Yeah, they do. They get paid fairly decent.
Is it the same teams? Is it like Lakers and then Laker, like, I don't know, G League, or is it a whole nother Los Angeles Ponders or something?
Well, it's
I don't know.
It is some crazy names like that. Seriously, it's team affiliated. I think out of the 30 NBA teams, I think 26 or 27 have affiliated G League teams, minor league teams. So they report to those guys. So for instance, you might get a guy that got drafted in the second round that they think he can be an NBA player, but he's not an NBA player right now. So they'll sign him to a minor league contract, which they call it two-way contract, where if we want to pull him up for the NBA just to have him on the bench, we can, but we go stick him down in the minor leagues. So that's how the teams affiliate with the minor league teams.
He doesn't know about this. He didn't do any of that. Are you kidding me? He's guessing here. What the hell? He's just like pulling it out of his butt.
He's part of the system, right? Because like people that are really, I think, big fans, they like the first time I ever came across it was so in my community, Jeremy Lin's our Michael Jordan. Even though he's not that good, but the first time I ever read about him was he pulled up against John Wall and scored like 20 points on him in the non-NBA league. I'm like, man, that ain't even real. And then I started reading about it, and I'm like, oh, there's like another developmental league, and I just didn't really understand what that whole system was.
The cool thing about Jeremy Lin was he took the NBA by storm. I mean, this kid just literally came out of nowhere, was sleeping on somebody's couch. Yeah. Played at Harvard. No ballers at Harvard.
That's probably why he went there.
Yeah, but I mean, he came and took the league by storm, and it was like one of the most amazing things I've seen. Like, seriously, like he came in, and it wasn't just because of the fans, it's the way he played. And he really took the NBA over for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And then the pressure came on him, and it was harder because there was expectations on him. Now he wasn't just out there just playing. It was like, okay, now we need you to score 20 points every night.
Yeah.
And that's when pressure comes, and it becomes a little bit different for guys.
Yeah, every mistake you make, there's like a magnifying glass now.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it like the coach saying like now you have to perform this way? If you don't, then we kind of have to move you around and figure out a different game player.
No,
how does that work?
I think it was more like he was getting pressure from everybody. Now he has the whole Asian community following him.
Yeah.
Like when he goes to Taiwan, I mean, I've been there a few times. it's like he is like Michael Jackson over there. Seriously, it's like police escorts and they got to block down city blocks for him and stuff like that. So I think when you had that amount of pressure on you, you never was kind of giving it and earning it at each stage. It just come at you at one time.
That's rough.
That's tough. That's for anybody at anything they do in life. If you getting all that pressure, it's hard for you to perform like that.
True. How did you go through it?
Mine came over time. It's like little by little, little by little. So for me, it wasn't like a big rush of attention that just came all of a sudden me. And I was on losing teams. We were getting our ass kicked every night. I went from at Michigan State, win the national championship my freshman year, went to the Final Four my sophomore year, and then in the NBA, I mean, we won 16 games out of 82. So I was like, what the hell? This sucks. I hate losing. So the tension for me was never always constant. It just came over time.
Yeah. When was like that pivotal moment where it was a rush of it?
I probably have to say the dunk contest kind of did it a little bit.
Yeah.
It was more in the Bay Area, being the Warriors, because we were, like I said, we sucked for so many years.
Yeah.
And we was losing. And it was like the only bright spot for the Warriors. It's like, oh man, we got something to cheer for.
Yeah, the We Believe era.
Yeah, so the tension came a little bit, but I'm a very humble guy. I never big time people. If people want to talk to me, I'm always talking to kids. I always sign every autograph. And my boys used to get mad, like, your autograph never go worth anything. I'm like, oh, it's just
why? Because you do it so much.
I do it so much. I'm like, it's just an autograph, dude. It's like, oh my God. I'm just so normal like that. It's like, who want to pay for my autographs? Like, so what? Just sign it.
You're so cool. You are definitely humble. You're really dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, I mean, I was reading so much about you, and that was one of the things that's constantly said about you, how you're such a humble, like, you're a class act, and that's why a lot of people really, like, love you.
Yeah, for me, it was always, when I was younger, and I say if I ever get famous, I don't feel like just because I do something really well that I'm better than somebody. Yeah. I mean, we all are human. We all put our pants on the same time, one leg at a time.
But some people's pants are fancier than others.
Yeah, some people's pants are a little bit fancier, but you still got to put one leg through it at a time.
I'm kidding.
Unless you got some pants and somebody holding them and you jumping in them. I mean,
that's how Kardashians do it, I heard.
But I just feel like we just, if everybody can understand and respect each other and have that, we could all get along a lot better. So I felt like, I should big time somebody because I do something pretty good. God gave me this ability to showcase it, but it's also gave me to reach out to different people and change people's lives, maybe, in the sense that if I talk to somebody.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, a lot of our friends are from the Bay Area, and they're just like, you're a god to them.
And I still don't understand it. I'm sorry. I love the Bay Area fans. I totally love them. But I'm like, I didn't win a championship. Didn't make the All-Star game. I just played hard, and I just don't know.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Seriously.
Yeah, that you gave it your all, and they noticed it. All.
And I'm looking at it like, I go back there every now and then, or, I go in the streets and somebody know they're a Golden State fan. I'm like, you guys got Steph, Clay, Draymond. They won championships. They had Kevin Durant. Those guys are all-stars. And you still, like, I'm your favorite Warrior.
Oh, that's cool.
And I still haven't won more than, like, 30 games. But it's just so cool, man. It's just like, to have that feeling from those fans and appreciation for my career and how hard I work.
Yeah. I think one thing that it's hard for people to understand, but like when you get to the top level, it's because you're competitive, right? And you're a really good athlete. So that's like a bucket that needs to be filled. Obviously, when you play professional sports, the financial side of things, that's another bucket. And I think like for people that haven't been in it, they'll see like a boxer get knocked out all the time or whatever. They're like, I'll get knocked out for like $10 million every single time. I don't mind. But the athlete, the boxer, is dying on the inside. Yeah. They're like, I want to win. Like I won my first 100 boxing matches. Mm-hmm. So for you, when you're in a period where you played 80 games, won 30, you said, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure financially it was good because you're in the pros. How does it, like, is there like this weird thing that kind of pulls at your heartstrings, or does it feel weird to like every time you're walking off the court you're like this, but then you walk into like a Lamborghini or something? Like what is that dynamic?
It's so funny because everybody says, like, especially with pro athletes, like, what warrior in the world do you have? You got all the money in the world.
But it ain't about that.
It's not about that. For a lot of us, it's pride. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, it's pride. Yeah, I got money and I can take care of my family and all this stuff like that. But I work so hard to win. You know, I want to win a championship. I want to be an all-star. So it's a pride factor. And you could tell which guys are pride factor based and which guys are money based.
Like who? Let me hear.
I won't put no names out there, but
I know.
I'm gonna give you some inside tips on how you can point them out.
Okay.
The guy that don't come back better the season after.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
You have weaknesses in your game and you don't come back. You're not here for pride. You're not here to get better.
Yeah. You're just here for the job.
You're just here for the job. The guy that just win a game or lose a game and it doesn't matter to them. It's just there for the money. So you could spot those guys out. And as soon as I say that, I know a lot of people bring up a lot of names that comes to that. But,
you're not talking about one specific person. It's
no,
a type.
It's a type. It is with the NBA, and that's one thing about when you talk about the superstars, the Steph Currys, LeBrons, the Jordans, the Kobes. Those guys were like God gifted, really good. But what drove them is they wanted to be the best ever.
Yeah, it's not even about the money.
It's not even about the money. I mean, those guys getting paid. I think Bron's worth almost $1 billion or something. Nike gave him $1 billion, but in his mind, it's not about the money. It's I want to be the best ever. Like everybody talk about Jordan this and Kobe. I want to be the best ever. So those guys are driven about becoming the best ever. So you had those type of guys, and then like I said, you had those type of guys that just I got a paycheck.
Yeah,
I mean play hard.
That's kind of in any career,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
you do have those people that are passionate about their craft, that are there for it, and they're like nonstop, eat, breathe, live it. And then there's the other people that are just like trying to collect the check. So I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Going back to your first professional game, like, because I don't think any of us and most people, there's only 400 people in the NBA,
So no one else is gonna understand or
so
know.
No one else understands. But what's it like in the life of a NBA athlete? Because I've seen like on MTV Cribs that there's special planes, or some teams have special planes, right?
It's special
where the chairs are for tall people, and they have like a box of M&Ms and Skittles. Like you can't get that on a regular plane. But like what's like the day in the life, or even the day in the life of a week in the life of a NBA basketball.
We're spoiled. I'm not gonna lie. We're spoiled, but it's worse now. These guys, oh my gosh.
Okay, well, how is it in your time versus now?
Okay, so my time, we still have private planes. We got 7-footers on our team. We had the big chairs, and you have food and just the normal stuff. But these guys, man, they get like full chefs. They like get fed 8 times a day, and I mean, they just get all this money, and it's just like, I mean, the like all their locker rooms are just like, some of the locker rooms have barbershops in them.
Whoa.
And college locker rooms have barbershops.
Wow.
Yeah. Just unlimited access to recovery, state-of-art doctors, just everything. It's totally different now. These guys really treat their bodies like temples. Like for me, like the first 4 or 5 years in the NBA, we didn't have a nutritionist. So
yeah, you don't know anything.
Yeah, so like right before the game, I used to have like 2 Big Macs. Seriously, it was like I was a Big Mac guy. I had to have them like, and this is like an hour before the game started. This is like literally, I'm walking around with a gut full of McDonald's hamburger in my stomach.
Does it help you play better though?
It was terrible. It was awful. And then I didn't learn until later on, like maybe my 6th or 7th year. Like, that was why I was probably playing it halfway slow, because I couldn't digest the terrible burgers that was in me. But with these guys, now you start hearing a lot of guys that are vegan. They see in the positive. They really taking their job seriously as far as what they fueling their body with and how they're recovering and training for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, back in the day when they were wearing the short shorts, they were also in Chucks.
Yeah.
Imagine what their feet and their knees must have felt like.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the short shorts are back, but I don't know about the Chucks.
Yeah. Those are rough.
Do you guys have to go through like TSA? What's your guys' like flight process?
You just go right to the plane and hop on and go.
Like on the tarmac?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Private plane session. You just go there, boom, you hop on the plane, you go. Because you got to think, we're always in the air. It's always traveling. Like,
because it's from game to game to game.
It's game to game to game. So like, if baseball and football, for instance, baseball players, they play a series in the city. So if the Oakland A's are playing against the Minnesota Twins, they're going to be in that town for 3 or 4, maybe 5 days and play 3 or 4 or 5 games. Whereas the NBA team, we're in that town, we play that game, and we're leaving, going on to the next city. And so sometimes they don't do it as much now. This is why I say guys are spoiled. We used to have 4 games in 5 nights on the road.
Whoa.
Like, so you would play in the city, You fly in the city like on a Sunday. You'll play Monday, fly out the next day. Fly out that night, go to the next city the next morning, have breakfast, get ready for that game, play that game.
Are you on a red eye? You flying out on a red eye?
You flying right out. You're not staying. You got to go.
Where are you sleeping?
On the plane.
Oh,
so
man.
It's a tough adjustment because your body is just like, man, what is going on? Like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, I'm ready to just like crash. And so I tell people all the time, if you're a serious basketball fan, just watch this process, because the first part of the season from October to December, the games are amazing because guys are excited. They're back in the season. Hey, let's play. Around January to All-Star break, which is like January to like right around Valentine's Day, it is the worst basketball ever because guys are fucking tired. They're like, I can't wait till All-Star break. I need a week off, and the games are bad. And then after All-Star break, when everybody refresh, then the games are good again. But it's a long process, and it's just a battle. It's more mental than anything, to be honest with you.
Is that why some people that might have been good at college break at the pro level? Because of you're playing, number one, a higher level game, but number two, there's press, there's the travel, like the logistics, the behind the scenes of basketball is not what you're used to in college, and it crushes you.
Yeah, it is. It's some of that is just their skill set maybe not just as good for the NBA level as it was in the college, but a lot of it has to do with your mentality, because you could have argument with your wife or your girlfriend, got in a car accident, get to the arena, your favorite pair of shoes is missing, but you got to go on the court and perform because nobody cares.
Yeah.
We don't care what happened. We just know you on this floor. So a lot of people don't understand that aspect, that even though we're professional athletes and we get paid millions of dollars to do this, we're still human. We still have days where it's just like, goddamn, I don't want to do shit today.
Yeah.
But we still have to go perform because that's our job.
Yeah.
Wow, that's tough.
Yeah.
Do you think that has playing like such a high-paced professional sport, do you think that has rubbed off in your personal life in any way? And like now that you don't play at like such a high-paced level, do you feel like you miss it at all?
You know what? I don't miss it at all. The thing I miss and you could talk to any retired player, we miss the camaraderie. We miss being around the guys. We miss, the locker room banner and just the dinners and stuff like that. You don't miss playing. Like, that is a grind. It is like a tiring grind. So you just miss being around the guys. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of athletes have a hard time leaving behind, is just being around the guys, just the stuff off the court, because there's so many stories you have and the fun times and stuff like that.
I see.
Yeah.
Speaking about how like the spoiled baseball players, they get to rest like a good 3-4 days while you guys are on the road.
Seriously.
Would you say like baseball players are kind of weak?
No, I don't think that at all.
Why are you trying to get him in trouble?
I have baseball friends. No, I think those guys are lucky. I mean, you look at all the pitchers, those guys might pitch 17 games.
Yeah, they get wrecked.
And they just, it's a lot on their shoulders and arms, but man, I would love to play only 17 games a year.
Yeah, that's it, right?
And get paid like $25 million a year for 17 games. But it's pretty cool though. To each his own.
If you were to put it in the hierarchy of like professional sports, which one do you think is the toughest, and then which one do you think is like
the pussiest?
That's the, or like I don't know, that's the ideal. Yeah. Like I want to do that.
Oh,
that seems
ideal.
the most chill.
Oh, the toughest is well, if you say major sports, that's like soccer, baseball, basketball, football. Football players, I just don't know how they do it.
Because they're just getting slammed
They're getting slammed, and then any given moment, one injury could be career injuring, and then that's it.
It's like semi-trucks just
Seriously.
like crashing into each other.
And then if you get hurt like that, they could just cut you and you don't get paid. It's just like, I just don't understand how their player association doesn't fight that more. Like, those guys get abused so much.
So they're probably like the hardest.
Yeah. I'm going to say hockey players second, because I think they get underpaid just like football players, and they just wrecking their bodies also. Basketball players, and then probably baseball players.
They're like kind of like
they got the
cheerleaders
job,
a little bit.
Yeah, they got the easy job. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. I played baseball, it's not a lot of physical movement going on in baseball. They don't have to do a lot of running. I mean, you hit a ball and it gets inside. Sprint. You got to sprint, but literally, how many times you go sprint?
Yeah.
I mean, you get more strikeouts or more fly balls than anything. So
I remember so when I went to UCLA, there's the stadium on the side, Drake Stadium, where like, you know, it's open to the public.
Yeah.
So people run the bleachers and I would go and just run bleachers and just do laps, and I would see the baseball team train.
There you go.
I've never seen baseball players train before, and I was legit watching these guys doing like a 5-yard sprint. And I'm like, I know there's skill in the game, right? And I'm just, because, like, you know, when a ball's coming at you at like 90 miles per hour, it's hard to hit it with the bat. I get it. There's a lot of skill. But I'm like running from here to here and then going, I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, I should have tried out for baseball.
You sound like a hater.
They don't look, I mean, so I played basketball for a little bit.
Okay.
I used to wrestle in high school. And in my junior year, I went to this military school in San Diego, and my weight class dude was the state champ. And then I was a junior year in high school, so I wasn't about to be JV. You know, I'm like, he's taking the floor. I'm not going to be JV. And I played a lot of like street ball. So like I'm athletic, I can move around. So I tried out for the basketball team, and, you know, running suicides and stuff like that. That's like I'm like, this is a real sport.
Yeah.
Running like from here to here, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Right.
What so now that you're you know, like, I still see that you're playing in like all these golf tournaments and stuff like that. Like, what is the life post professional sports?
Well, it's a lot of traveling with my kids. They into AU sports, and it's just constantly travel. But I play a lot of golf. I'm an avid golfer. I think that's
Have you played that before, like just in high school too?
Yeah, my dad taught it to me when I was younger, but playing so many multiple sports that were high fast, and I mean this motion and movement, I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I just want to drive the cart. And like, to this day, I regret that to this day, because I think my golf game be a lot more better than what it is right now.
Yeah.
If I'd have stuck with it when I was younger. But I mean, it is what it is, and it gets my competitive edge out of me, because, you know, one little thing in golf could go wrong and it throws your whole game off. So you have to be really mentally tough to play golf. And I just love being outdoors, and I'm out there with music on. I'm not like one of those uptight golfers. I'm music on, cigars, and I'm drinking. So I'm going to have a good time. But at the same time, it's going to be, I want to go out there and play good. Yeah,
doesn't matter if they're young or old. You're going to beat them.
Yes.
Do you play that competitively?
I haven't played competitively yet. I'm trying to get my golf game up there. I'm pretty good, but everyone's like, you should do it. I was like, no, I'm a perfectionist. I was like, I'm not there yet. So I like to make sure my game is there before I do it. But
you think you could do that at a professional level? Like,
not a professional level, but they have a lot of celebrity events and stuff like that that could be in it. And a lot of guys like, you're better than a lot of these celebrities. I'm like, I want to be the best, and I'm not ready.
Wow.
That's just how competitive I am. So
you're really competitive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we're almost out of time. So I want to end. We're almost out of time. So I want to end it on this question. You know, when people are very competitive, right, and they're confident, and like they have a lot of drive, naturally they're attracted to a spouse that's the same way. When it's at home and both of you guys are 100% on your guys' position, but you guys disagree, how do you guys resolve it?
Somebody had to walk away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My wife, she played college basketball also. I had to bring the story up since you said competitiveness. You know, she's really pretty. She's really girly looking. And she's like, yeah, I play college basketball. I'm like, yeah,
she's fire, though. Just meeting her off the bat, she is a fire.
Yes. And so she's like, hey, I play basketball. So we goes to a 24-hour fitness.
This is when you guys first started dating?
We first started dating. And, you know, I said, hey, we play game to 5. And I'm in the NBA. I think it's my first year. We met my first year.
A game to 5, that's it?
The game to 5. And because I'm thinking, like, there's no way this girl play basketball. I mean, I met her. She had a nice dress on, like heels. She doesn't look like most girls that play basketball are a little tough. And she doesn't look that way.
Looks sporty.
It was sporty, yeah, but she doesn't look that way. And so she gets the ball, and I back off her. She hit a jumper. I was like, oh, lucky shot. Whatever. She gets the ball again, hit a jumper. She's like, are you going to play me? I was like, yeah, I'm playing you. So I said, okay, she's getting a little competitive. She got lucky, hit 2 shots in a row. So I get up on her, and she pump fakes me, drives around, get the basket. I said, oh, no. So it's 3-0 now. So I said, okay, it's time to play. So, long story short, the game became 4-4. Wow. She gets the ball, and
you let it get to 4-4?
Yes, because I didn't take her seriously. This is underestimating. I was wrong for that. I know now.
Okay, we'll let it slide. We'll let it slide.
She gets the ball, and she makes this move on me. And I'm a sore loser too a little bit. Like it's not like
I like
in
that you admitted
the public. It's like with people I know. I'm a little sore loser.
Okay. Yeah.
She got around me and I stuck my leg out just a tad, and it hit her dead in her thigh. She got a dead leg, and falls to the ground crying. I picks up the ball and go score. And then I come back and like, oh, are you okay? And so she said, it's broken. It's broken. And she just had this big old bruise on her leg.
Oh my God.
When we were competitive like that, I think for us, we both would just go. Because she played ball, I played ball. She coached kids, and she knows basketball just like anybody else.
Yeah, I saw her just even handle the ball yesterday, and I'm like, oh, she plays basketball.
Yeah.
I just see her dribble, I'm like, wow.
So when it gets to that level, I think it's some arguing because we both competitive. Like, I'm going to win the argument, but she's smarter than me, so she's going to win the argument. And so all I do is just leave because I know that she outsmart me because she's super intelligent. She's like electrical engineer, applied mathematics degrees.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on mine. So it's like, yeah, you got this one.
She's really good at numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
If she played your kids one-on-one, who's winning?
She doesn't do it anymore. She became, I don't know what happened. I think we got too old. Like now she's like, she's like get girly on me now.
Oh, she doesn't want to get physical?
No. And she used to be like that. She used to be so physical, but we used to have a lot of backyard 2-on-2s when we were in Denver. We
that sounds so fun.
No?
Because
the neighbors would have to call the police. Like, because we are a family of 4. We are super ultra competitive.
Just talking shit.
And so, this shit talking. And so, one day, I don't know how they managed the boys. This is 2 years ago, so they were 12 and 14. They managed to hey, we play a game with 2-on-2. You and mom versus me and Jackson and Jason for an iPhone. They get an iPhone. iPhones are pretty expensive. They're $1,200.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got bamboozled in playing this game. But we started off.
That's your competitive side because you're like, how are you gonna beat me? I got this in the bag. That's probably what happened.
It was friendly at first until we started getting close to 12. We was going to 12. And it was arguments amongst teammates. Me and my wife was arguing. Like, you're not boxing out. You're not passing the ball. You're not
blaming it on each other.
The 2 kids started arguing, and it's loud. Like, I know our neighbors are like, this family is crazy. Like, it was pure out arguments. Go do your fucking like it was that bad. So, long story short, my sons hit some lucky shots, and we had to pay iPhones. That sucks.
Oh,
I was so mad. We lost, and we had to give them iPhones.
And you and your wife were playing 100%.
We were almost there because we were competitive. We don't like to lose, and so I don't think we talked to each other for like 2 hours after that. It was pretty bad. She didn't do her job. I got mad. She started she's like, wait a minute, they're getting too big. I was like, no, we about to have to pay $2,000 in iPhones. Like, seriously, come on.
At 12 and 14, were they over 6 feet already?
They were. I think my oldest was just at 6 feet, and the youngest was like 5'9" But the younger one, he's obviously bigger than the bigger brother. He's 6'3.5", almost 6'4", and then my oldest one now is like 6'3".
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, you guys got beat by kids, huh?
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Way to rub it in his face.
It sucks. I still remember. I hate it every moment.
Oh, man. Next time we see your kids, we're just going to give them dabs.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I see that iPhone?
Right.
What were they supposed to give up if you guys won? Or was it just only a one-sided agreement?
No, it was something like they would have to do chores for like a whole month. It was something big. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But their minds were focused like, we're getting this iPhone. And like my youngest son is the craziest thing. He was throwing up some crazy just like behind the back shots, and they were going in. It was like meant for them to get an iPhone. I'm like, how the hell you make that? Like,
Maybe they've been practicing.
No, I'm like,
do that in a game where it counts.
Seriously. And I was like, it was maybe meant for them to get an iPhone, I guess.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thank you so much, Jason. It was so fun.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for answering all my stupid questions. Because I'm always interested in stuff like this, Like, is there anything you want to plug? Any place they can follow? Any things that you're a part of?
No, my social media is boring. Like, seriously. It's really boring. It's golf and couple of highlights of my kids. That's about it.
Yeah, then just follow me then again. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.